Two of the most likable movie actors star in Spirited, a big-hearted but awkward parody of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Spirited is like a big goofy puppy in how much it wants to make you laugh, and that desire to amuse can be both its greatest asset and greatest liability. It's overly long, crowded, crammed, and misses several fundamental technical aspects like production design and coherent editing. However, there are instances when everything can disappear despite everyone's best efforts. It's really rough around the edges, but also quite simple to root for in the end, almost like a community theater presentation of an original musical. The ghost's primary responsibility in the movie's plot is to select the criminals who will have the greatest positive ripples and effect change. The more challenging the perp is to change, the greater the benefits of his positivism to people around him. There is an instant revelation when Present runs into Clint in the lobby when the scouting team is on their way to check out the hotel manager. Clint's conversion would be a major victory for them. This is merely the beginning of the solution. Clint was selected to spread the message further and advance the welfare of humanity. The second, less obvious one that we learn about in the second half of the film is that Present was an unredeemable in himself. This brand is inscribed on those who the committee believes are unchangeable. Ebenezer Scrooge, a wicked and obnoxious character who was despised by everyone for his callous and cruel behavior, was present in his human existence. Present tells Clint why he took his case when he is transformed back into a human after retiring. He believed that there was hope for Present himself if he could save Clint, an unsalvageable. Present believed that although changing for the better, he continued to escape from his past and never truly felt atoned for it. Clint was triggered in one of the flashbacks and recollections despite his cheery demeanor in the others. Clint was so terrified of reliving that moment that he actually transcended the dimensions and fell into the afterlife. Present had to simulate bringing him back. In that flashback, Clint was in the hospital visiting his sister Carrie when she asked him to look after Ren while she was away. More so than Owen and Carrie, who were siblings for a shorter period of time than the brother and sister, the brother and sister pair had a very trustworthy and emotionally stable relationship. Carrie asked, but Clint refused. He refused to take care of Ren because he could not bring himself to do so and gave his hectic work schedule as an excuse. Carrie was devastated, and Clint might have been too. But he was unable to express it. On her sister's deathbed, a brother was unable to attend to her. That is a significant load. Clint is unable to watch the memory again after the first viewing. But the second time, with Present's assistance, Clint was able to face that heartbreak and resolve to be a good brother to his sister. He acknowledged his error, accepted it, and was even more eager to go past it. And wonderful lead into the next query regarding these altered sensibilities. Clint's emotional wall and guardedness may have been chipped at by Present through his efforts, but the ghost of yet to come delivered the death blow. The tall, shrouded, Grim Reaper-like man, voiced by Tracy Morgan, demonstrated to Clint what would have happened if Ren had shared the video. Clint was correct in that she did become the school's president. The entire class receives phone texts as she is giving a speech. The young person about whom she uploaded the video committed suicide as a result of his shame and the ferocious abuse he received from schoolchildren on social media. Ren is also distraught and accuses herself of causing it. She would continue to harm herself in that way forever. Clint bumps into his previous self when he tries to run away from the truth of his life in the future. Instead of passing away peacefully on a bed with family at his side, he suffers a heart attack while working alone in his office and falls to the ground with a thud. All of this demonstrated to Clint that, should Ren send the message, it would not only cause her to become estranged from the rest of the family and leave her with an irreparable trauma, but would also have a similar impact on him. That is what made Clint change his mind. Clint immediately noted Present's interest in Kimberly. So much so that he accidentally made himself visible to her without even realizing it. All of this occurs subconsciously, supporting the idea that he was in love. Present was hesitant to retire and spend all of his time with Kimberly, though. She had hinted that she shared his thoughts and that the two of them were meant to be. During the former's haunting, Clint and Present became great friends. Present was prodded to jump while being told that no man is flawless. He must accept his shortcomings in order to understand that doing one's best is sufficient. Each man should reach that threshold, and Present had succeeded in doing so. Retirement and another opportunity at life with a woman who was as kind and loving as he was provided Present with atonement. Clint was right when he said that Roberto and Kimberly would foster a family and cohabitate in a charming home on a peaceful street, exactly as Present had once imagined. We observed that Clint gave his life to save present when he became frightened after retiring and nearly jumped in front of a bus. You can observe a dramatic difference in Clint if you compare him to the Clint who jumped to save his companion at the beginning of the movie. At that point, the action stops and Jacob and the Afterlife staff enter to save Clint. Clint actually killed after colliding with the bus in real life. It was clear since Roberto couldn't see him and didn't understand what was happening to Clint's spirit. Carrie was happy to see her brother forgiven and embraced the constructive change he was always capable of. Jacob then joined Clint's spirit with hers. They made the decision to replace Clint Roberto after realizing this change. He took on more of a leadership role going forward, modernizing and organizing the afterlife in a manner akin to his business. He appeared to be qualified to succeed the outgoing leader and perform an equally great job. Spirited's conclusion represented the narrative coming full circle. It began with Present's quest to save an unredeemable, and it finished with Clint's mission to save Present by granting him the right to retire. As the new ghost of the present, Clint's job was to make it happen for other people and see to it that the great work that they perform in the afterlife endures. As previously established, Clint's turning point came when he jumped in front of the bus to save Present, despite having previously said that he would grow up after a day or two of guilt. Roberto was aware that this was untrue and that Clint had not merely prevented Ren from sending the message due to his own remorse. He spent more than 200 years in the afterlife, and experience is always valuable. He could see that Clint had actually changed and was now prepared to save others and assist them. The brother-sister team then turned on the pedal to speed up the afterlife operations once Carrie was reunited with Clint as well. Indicating that he was in a good place, Clint also established a positive friendship with the ghost of the past, played by Sunita Mani. One aspect of the conclusion needs to be clarified. Clint discusses Ren and the fact that she was able to contact Stanford when he pays Kimberly and Roberto a visit at their residence. However, they also discuss the plight of another girl, whose rescue is Clint's next significant task. He even gives Roberto a chart of her life path on which he notes butterflies and claims that she has experienced love. But we don't know who that is in reality. Are there any rumors of a sequel in which Clint will portray the ghost of the present? Or is it just a chance occurrence? Clint was shown working on the hotel manager that the scouting team had chosen before Present decided to make Clint the new perp in a last post-credits scene.